10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's go time! What? What's happening, everybody? That's right. Welcome to the Valentine's live stream show on a Wednesday. I'm just going to adjust this microphone, and there we go. All right, everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Yes, well, let's be fair. It started off as a pleasant day of actual talking about love, but it is a corporate consumerism holiday, but that's okay. I like chocolate flowers too. Maybe a different type of flowers than maybe you might bring a normal person, but that's okay, everybody. Guess what? We're going to get it hot. We're going to get it real. We're going to have a good show. Okay. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have a good time. We're going to let everyone have a good time and hang out. Okay. So first, we're going to go back to the beginning as we normally do. And we're going to say hi to everybody that's initially here. And we're going to start saying hi for the next couple of minutes as people keep continuing to show up into the show. All right. First of all, I'm going to say hello, WB Grower. It's good to see you. What's up, Kenneth R. Knox? Good to see you, buddy. What's up, Van Island Beauty, baby? What's happening? What's up, that one stuff? I love this comment, everybody. It is funny. I need to rent a pot squatch. Come grow me some weed. Well, hey, maybe one day. I don't know what that rate would go for it. But, man, if you were my neighbor, I'd just give you weed, man. What's happening, Miss K's Garden? Good to see you. All right. If I missed anybody, what's up, Crazy Train? Oh, GC, no. What's up, motherfucker? My weed is too wet, won't burn in a joint at all. Well, one, proper drying is important, but also, two, stop getting so excited. All right. What's up, Wonka Donkey? Good to see you, buddy. What's happening, Eugene Dolan? Welcome to the Wednesday show. So, as I was saying, yes, it is, in fact, Valentine's Day, everybody. So, first of all, I know that this can be a wonderful day if we're in love with somebody. It could be a hard day if we're in love with somebody. It could be a hard day if we have nobody to love. But guess what, everybody? Don't get down on yourselves. We have each other. I'm single as a villain, motherfucker. Okay. And I'm digging it, man. I'm having a good Valentine's Day. All right. It's all right to be by yourself. If anything, when you're on your own, you can actually focus on the important things that you need to get your shit popping, shall we say. So at the end of the day, everybody, you're not alone. We all with you. And hey, it's Wednesday. Let's have some motherfucking fun. Good evening to you as well, Eugene Dolan. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show. I also want to take a minute here just to say thank you to one, all the old school pod squatches have been here for a long time. I want to say hello to all the new pod squatches who may join us in the show today. We've had some crazy stats happen on the channel in the last 48 hours. So our 4-week of flower video, I think it's at like 3.7 thousand views right now, which again, for an update video for us, even like, we have a lot of update videos from over the years that exploded in the long run, but to have a quick explosion on this is kind of ridiculous. It's unheard of. So here, I'm going to pull it up here, show you the stats on this video right now. How do I do this? Let's go here. No, there, we'll just show the latest published content one. So anyway, as you can see here, though, everybody, can you see that? There we go. 3.7 thousand views, 173 likes, a crap ton of new viewers coming into the show, coming in and checking things out. I don't really know what happened there, to be fair. But in this last 48 hours, we've exploded over 100 new subs, everybody. We've had over 100 new pod squatches come to join our international community. And so, hell yeah, to all the new pod squatches, welcome home, baby. Welcome home. And to all the old school pod squatches, well, thank you for sticking through. And the one thing I've learned from doing some research in the last sort of day or two, talking to some of my homies who understand a bit more about how the algorithm and everything actually works in terms of the YouTube and everything. Did you know that, one, subscribing and liking is very important? So that is a very big help to us for sure. So like, subscribe, it helps us out. But the biggest thing that you can actually do to help our channel right now in fighting the fight against YouTube and trying to get our community growing again and getting the good word out there, as it were, is actually sharing our videos, sharing our content, sharing it about, and that's really the power of the share. Hey, what's up, Finland? All right, see everybody, we got Regis 1988 coming in from Finland, one of the new pod squatches. Welcome to the show, my friend. I'm glad it popped into your feed. I don't know how it did it either. I was just telling everybody, Regis 1988, that everything blew up. And I was like, I don't know if we've ever done that quickly. Like, I mean, we've got update videos that got like 160,000, 170,000 views or whatever. But like, it freaked me out. I was like, I don't know, man. Squatch just wanted to know if I buy the beans from your site, the K-Town Kush, if you can legally ship them to California. Yes, we ship anywhere in the world. And I'll be frank, if you live in a country where they say marijuana beans are bad, I can get them in there too. I get beans into New Zealand. I've gotten beans into Australia. I mean, to be fair, there's maybe a couple countries I might be nervous. I'll try. If you order beans from like if you live in China, I'll probably get them India, but like, I don't know if you should be growing weed titties in China right now. They kind of hate on that shit a little bit. But we'll send anywhere in the world, or at least we will try. So I am not worried about that at all, everybody, because guess what? It's a seed. And if they're going to have an issue with me, well, come get me. Also, you're not taking me on individually. You're taking on my international corporation, which is a separate entity. And guess what? We've got a lot of really good lawyers. So let's play a game. I don't give a shit. You as a marijuana people have a right to weed titty seeds, even if you live in an arbitrarily old-fashioned place. See, look at how nice I was. I didn't even say anything mean. I just said the old-fashioned countries with their mindsets towards marijuana. But I do believe, funnily enough, that one stuff, if you were in North Korea, I could send seeds there. Marijuana is legal in North Korea, which I always find funny. It's like, let your people smoke weed, give them the munchies, and then starve them. I mean, that's just cruel and mean. You know what I'm saying? But, at the end of the day, we will send beans anywhere. But again, I want to say a big shout out, though, to Radgis1988. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the crew. And shout out to Finland. When I did my genetic crap, I found out I've got a little bit of Finn in there. I got a little bit of Norwegian, a bunch of Swedish. I found out that there's like a solid 16, 18% Viking in Uncle Squatch. I'm mostly Scottish. The next biggest thing would be Irish, but then the Vikings in there too. So that was a fun thing that I learned. So everyone, welcome Rajish. If I'm saying that wrong, by the way, I apologize. I do my best to say names properly, but it doesn't mean I'm ever going to be perfect at it. Okay, let's read some of these messages. That one stuff says, I need magic spells to grow seeds to done in an hour. Oh, dude, I know. I'm still trying to figure that one out, too. I have not figured out a way for us to speed up that speed of which we grow weed. I found out ways to make it slightly faster, which is one of the cool things. What's up, Jay Green? You didn't miss nothing. We're just getting the show going on this transitional thing where we were emulating and cutting off kind of like 15 minutes a day for about a week and a half. Yeah, week and a half, 2 weeks leading up to that flower flip. Some people are like, oh, well, then it's not a true 4 weeks of flower. I'm like, actually, it is, because we never breached the 12-12. We merely approached it, but never got there. So therefore, null and void the slow transitional motif to allow our pre-flowers to then establish within themselves is a true proven thing, at least for this strain. We're going to have to try it on the next number of grows to quantify data on whether or not it's very valid. I think it'll have different approaches for different types of strains. If it's a sativa strain, well, you're going to have to do it a little bit longer. But hell yeah. Okay, we're reading messages again. Let's read the messages. Yes, that's right. I am real and I'm back, baby. All right. So 1 second here, everybody. I'm still reading. Huckstagram doing a show when I'm doing my show. Bro, where the love? I always respect your shows. That's okay. I hope you have a good show, buddy. All right. 1 second here. I think I'm reading and thanks, the Quiet Witch. I love you, girl. Hell yeah. Thank you. I didn't even know we could do that on our channel. Like, I knew we were back in monetization, but the monetization program has changed, so it's weird. That one stuff says, have you ever picked the buds and tried to re-veg the plant? Oh, 100%. So that one stuff, we did a lot of that early on in our channel. I was a big fan of monster cropping pots in generals. Okay. So basically pick the buds. I would typically harvest a majority, top 2/3 and a bit of the plant. And then once I'd harvested that top sort of 2/3 of the plant, I would leave some smaller buds kind of there, some of the little sort of more scraggly things that are a little bit further behind. And then I would re-veg from there. A really important thing too is leaving some of those buds at their nodal segments when you trim it back to do a re-veg on your plant, okay? Because those nodal sites are where you're going to get some weird explosive super growth of branches blowing up out of nowhere. So you leave those buds intact. Also, too, I'm a big fan of keeping a mother plant that actually is, in fact, okay, a monster cropped plant, because when you take clones from that, it won't be as intense as a true, fully monster cropped clone, but it will be, in fact, a mildly monster cropped clone that you take from that. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. Man, thank you again, Jason Scholl, the Quiet Witch. Thank you to both of you very much. Everything helps. And the funny thing is at the moment, I don't actually have a job because of the legal battle with the last place. I'm looking around though. It's looking promising. I was at the Ramsey Burger the other day, so maybe I'll get a job at the Ramsey Burger bartending out at the casino there. But are our seeds F1? Yes, WB growers. All of the seeds that you see there are an initial F1 cross. We probably would have had an F2 or 3 together on at least the Galactic Citrus Shiva by now, but then you lose your lab and stuff, then that's not the reality. So WB growers, currently where we're at is we're dusting things off and doing interesting things as initial crosses for introducing true genetic stability and genetic diversity into the genetic kingdom of the cannabis world. So we are releasing F1s currently. Will we ever release further workings of the same thing? Of course we will. It's just going to take me a couple of years to probably find an actual space where I have enough space where I can keep doing things. So for now, with the limited space that we have right now, okay, simply put, we are actually, in fact, going to be pumping out even more F1s. Probably one of the initial things, because I've been thinking about what should we do? What should we do? And I know where everyone's vote's at. I know where everyone at home is thinking. They're like, we want the original skunk. We want something skunky. And I do have a few variations of some very old school skunk. A few of them are even labeled as such in my collection. I've got Vancouver Island Sweet Skunk. I've got a bunch of different things. So I'm thinking I might pop some of that and try to bring something truly skunky back and regular back to help reintroduce the genetic into the genetic world of people. Not only will it come out when we produce it, it will come to market at the same price as any of our other genetics. That's right. Could I charge a hell of a lot more if it proves to be true? Of course I could. Am I going to? Fuck no. Why? You don't. Why would I gouge you? You're my people. I'm in the business of empowering you. So we're going to make that genetic the same bloody price. And I knew Miss Cage was going to get excited about that one. She was one of the ones who's like, no, I want some skunk, man. I was like, all right. I won't lie to you, Miss K. I've been thinking about you. You're one of the main things I've been thinking about, Miss K, when it came to making the final decision. And I think I'm definitely going to dust off some of these old school skunk beans, yeah. I do it for you all. There's many of you who like, but Miss K, you pushed the scales in such a way that okay, we do this. All right. Tony Clifton says they're looking for fighting men in Ukraine, pays well. To be fair, if I had the financial realities where I could go over there and afford to donate some of my time to stand up against tyranny and the stupidity, which is the Kremlin, my God, I would. But sadly, I'm even getting older. I don't know. I mean, they'd probably take me there, but the normal military wouldn't take me. I'm too old now, I think. But yeah, let's read here. Hey, no, there's no such thing as cannon fodder in modern war anymore, everybody. We all use drones and other shit now. What's up, Alvin Mays? Sorry, I was busy earlier. I missed your call, buddy, but we can chat later. I apologize for missing your call. I hope the finger is still healing. I hope the sensation is returning to it. Kenneth R. Knox, like, I'll be all over that skunk when you do. Yeah, and I figured a lot of them really, a lot of the people out there really want some true skunky things coming out. So that's what we're going to be releasing. We're going to be releasing, to be fair, I mean, I'm working with 3 different variations that in my collection are labeled as the original skunk, the youngest of which is over 20 years old. I've also got a number of other skunk varieties equally as old in my collection to play with. So I'm probably going to pump a bunch of them. Okay. And so will it be the original skunk? I don't know if anyone really, except for maybe 1 or 2 actual breeders in the world could bring back an original skunk and call it that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to release something and we're going to call it Pot Squatch's skunk. And what that is going to be my attempt at bringing back an original skunk for everybody. I'll put it to you this way. It'll smell right, it'll taste right, and it's going to take you back in time. You're going to be sitting there, you're going to be 14 again. You just grab some fucking, skunk weed, you're sitting with the boys, and you're probably shouldn't smoke that shit in your bedroom because your mom and dad are going to smell that shit wafting down. It's skunky, baby. But we're going to be doing that 100%. What's happening, Andre 4000? What's today's subject? We're a little all over the place for show. What's up? I will be growing for life. God, every time I say that name, I like it. Today, we're just talking about a lot of random things. But right now, what we're talking about is we've moved on to talking about sort of the next genetic crossings that Uncle Pond Squatch is going to do. And I think even though I'm not necessarily a huge sat dom, and the original skunk wasn't a straight sat, by the way, everybody. It was very much a hybrid. What's up, Tazarello Gaming? Love the name, by the way. We're going to be bringing back some skunky monkey shit for everybody. I'm going to dust off a few of these old beans. And the fun thing is it also gives me a great chance to make a really fun video for everybody. Because I've been building this list of educational videos and how-to videos that we can make interesting, educational, and there's shit that you actually want to know. It's shit that you give a shit about, shit that you want to know, or at least have my personal humble 2 cents on. So if we go around and we pop some of these old school skunky beans, then it's going to give us a good opportunity, really, to make a video about popping older beans and keeping it real and keeping it Jill, Whoa, what's up, Jim M. Hatter? Also, cool thing, Jim, you're talking through the Facebook plugin for this chat, but it's saying your name. This is the first time I've seen a Facebook plug, someone saying hi, and it's saying their name. I'm not sure which link. So there's 2 Facebook places where this is live at right now. One is in the Pond Squatch Growers community, and another's on our company page right now. I don't know which one you're talking through, but I saw your name, Jim. Jim, I see you, Jim. I see you. All right. See, and then there is a Facebook user. So Jim and this Facebook user, maybe it's because Jim and I are friends on Facebook. I don't know. But Facebook user, oh, nice, brother. I'm not sure who you are. It doesn't say your name, but welcome, my friend. What's up, Doyle? Oh, Doyle rules. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Welcome to the show. You're new here. I don't recognize that name. And if I'm forgetting that you've been in the show before, I apologize. Crazy Train, do I still use my Soda Stream? Hell yeah, I do. It's hitting on the counter right there. If anything, I'm hitting with carbonated water more often than I hit with regular water now. It was really funny to me. I was talking about last week's show how I was on this very big grow forum and some really big popular channels watching and or making a video about carbonated water. Is it bro science or this that? And watching like these huge channels talking about it, and I'm sitting here going like, I invented this, guys. I'm watching these guys argue about this stuff or talk about this stuff, and I invented that technique, which is quite funny to me. So I'm just sort of sitting there quietly, and none of them know who I am on Facebook. They didn't realize, many of them, who I really am. So I just kind of quietly type in, and I'm like, actually, everyone, how it works is through root agitation and by triggering the self-defense mechanism of the plant through a root attack. It's not harming the roots. If anything, it's actually shaking up in a positive way, but that's what we're triggering with the carbonated water technique, and that's where we're seeing all the wonderful beneficial things that come about from it. A few of them liked it. And it's funny because I'm the guy who invented the technique. So it was just a funny thing to see. But yes, so I'm hitting probably honestly a week, at least 2 or 3 times a week with carbonated water on these ladies right now. I'm whipping out all the bells and whistles on these ones. We are in 2.5 gallon pots, right? We don't have a huge area of root medium. There's only so much we can do to augment, maximize, and supercharge our grow and our final yield. So then I'm playing with it. I'm pulling out our bells and stoppers and our whistles. Facebook user, I'm on my personal profile texting. Cool. Oh, is that you as well, Jim? Because normally it doesn't say names, Jim, because now it says just Facebook user. It said your name on the first message, though, which was cool. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's read. Bear with me. What's up, Salt Shoe Malone? Good to see you, my friend. Miss Case Garden, I can guarantee you that the soda water does in fact work. If you don't want to buy a Soda Stream, I get it. Just go buy some club soda. Make sure it is low sodium club soda. You want to watch the mineral and sodium content on that. But your plants will thank you. I have never met a strain where this technique is not very valid. I've never met a strain that does not Love it. And so do not be afraid. The club soda technique does work. I invented it. I swear by it. I've been doing it since 19 years old now. I am now 35 going on 36. So I've got over a decade and a half of me utilizing this technique on some of the weirdest, rarest genetics. Doesn't matter whether it's a new genetic or an old school genetic. It works and it is legitimate. To everyone who's joining the show now, the numbers just jumped. Welcome. I'm hoping some of you are the new subscribers to the channel. Whether you're old school or you're a new pot squatch, welcome to the family. Welcome to the community. You are valued. You are welcome. Welcome to the community of the pot squatches, my friends. Baked City says, thanks for all the knowledge. Hey, yo, Baked City, no worries. I mean, that's why I started this channel. That's why I've started any of this. And that's where we will not charge for content. We will not charge for any of our educational stuff ever. And when we do release things for sale, we do our darndest to bring things at a very affordable, sustainable price for the consumer to market. We're in the business of helping and so empowering people. That's what we do, man. So welcome, my friend. Kenneth Arnock says, I want some Squatch and Skunk OG. I don't know if I would release an OG skunk variety. I will say that the skunk we will do, I will guarantee you, I will intercross that into a number of cushes that I quite enjoy. And so you will get some Squatchy kush. It may not be an OG. I was found OG was mildly overrated, to be frank, but we will release some once I release our skunk for everybody to acquire and play with. I will make some Squatchy skunk cushes for you. Jay Green says it works amazingly, that soda water. Thank you so much for teaching me that trick. Hey, no worries, Jay Green. That was actually one of my techniques that I developed at a very much younger age, because I started growing I was really growing by like 12 and trying to not kill plants. I was probably still killing plants at 12. It took me a year or two to really figure that shit out. But does the club soda need to be watered down? No, bro. Andre 4000, when you're doing that treatment, I say go full bubbles, full gas. Go full up, full on. Do not hold back, because that agitation, okay, is what we're using to achieve the desired results on our plants. Okay. It's not hurting your plant. It's totally okay. But man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just fucking hit the damn bitch. Just go full bubbles, full all the time. And Salt Shoe Malone's like, man, so happy to see you back to your old self, so full of life. Oh, thanks, baby. Feels good to hear too. Oh man. But to finish what Jay Green was saying, oh wait, I already read the comment. But yeah, no, Jay Green, I'm glad it's working for you. It's one of those techniques that I can guarantee in any grow environment, any strain is going to be something that you're going to have benefit from. I stand by it. I developed it. It's got the Pot Squatch stamp of approval. Very rarely will I make a declarative statement that's got a broad-based positive in anything in the grow world. This one, I'll give it to that one. I tell you, that one gets it, baby. All right, 1 second here. This beer, like, I've got a whole nother beer I haven't even opened yet, so I got to finish this. Wow, the new Squatch doesn't really drink, I guess. Ooh, I got to catch up. But that's okay. The new Pot Squatch drinking less means one, still high energy, still crazy, still all over the place, but at the same time, more functional, more things get done in a day. It's also a lot cheaper, especially when you're unemployed. Tazarello Gaming says, I'm thinking the sugars in the club soda, the microbes would love it as food as well. I mean, every club soda is a little different. So typically I'm not using a club soda anymore. I'm just using a soda stream to introduce carbonation into my general water. Club soda, to my understanding, doesn't really have any real added sugar to it. There are, like, for example, like a tonic water has added sugars and other things like that. But I don't know if there's really a lot of added sugar to most club soda recipes. But I mean, because these days, like, I used to look like a fool back in the day when I was doing it. So I'd have like 16 to like 25 plants, let's say, on the go, right? So you go to the grocery store and you literally buy every 2 liter of club soda they got in the entire store. Then you walk up to the checkout looking like a weird mook, and you're like, da, 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 da. They're like, having a party? Yeah, in my grow up with my marijuana plants. And then they'd look back at you like, what? I'm like, don't worry, I'm legal. It's okay. And then I just walk out, and they're like, was that for real? I remember when that technique started getting around some of the local growers in the area when I was living out in the boonies. And then I go to the store and there was no club soda. I'm like, fuck, somebody saw the video. um, but yeah, so Tazarello Gaming, what you can do is you can introduce, a few different things. You could use a little bit of molasses. I mean, later in flour, I don't like to use too much molasses given its nitrogen content. But you can use a few other different things to introduce easily accessible sugars into your plants to rock and roll. For example, like liquid weight is a great product. And liquid weight has been designed by Green Planet to be used into later flowers, so it's not quite got the same nitrogen concentration of just using like a straight blackstrap unsalted molasses, right? So Andre 4000, great question. Andre says, what will it improve? Vigor. It'll improve vigor. It's going to improve typically on average your yield by about 10 to 15% when properly utilized. It's also going to trigger a greater triching out. It's going to increase resin production. Pretty much everything that the plant does that is part of its natural self-defense mechanism is going to be intensified. Typically, from what I find, for the most part, in terms of when it comes to the yield ability, I find on average, there's a 10 to 15% increase in my yield. So it's not like some miracle thing that's going to give you a crap ton more weight, but it's going to give you some more weight. But it's also going to turbocharge resin production and you're triking out. And trust me, if you're nervous about it, you never tried it. This goes out to you, Miss K. Try it. Just try it. If you trust me, Miss K, just do it for your best seeing if it working. Wait till like 2 or 3 weeks in, Miss K. I'd say wait to 3 weeks. And then on that 3, on its way to 4 week, hit it twice with club soda or carbonated water. Okay. And watch what your plants do. They will thank you. Trust me. It works. I'm up. 1 second here. I'm trying to read everybody's things. Does water carry air down to the roots without carbonation? Well, so mud swat, I mean, you got to remember the added carbon atom, which is being released in terms of the carbonation of the water. That's not adding oxygen, it's adding carbon. A lot of people are like, well, your roots need oxygen. Well, yes, but the additional carbon that's actually agitating and triggering all the positivity there is actually not robbing our plants or suffocating them with overload of carbon. That actual reaction of what we're watching is actually going to loosen up your root, your meatball. Meatball. No, your root ball, and it's actually going to keep things happier. So then after that reaction happens, as it passes and all that moves out, right? Okay. You're actually going to have a greater amount of oxygen for your roots. So that's arguably it kind of frees up a little space. It kind of, jostles it up a bit, especially when it starts to get maybe a little root locked on you. So that's going to do beneficial things in that way too. I hope that makes sense. Uh, but so yes, is it the carbonation that's adding the oxygen? No, water is bringing oxygen in, but the carbon itself will not suffocate your roots. It's not doing a negative thing, but will, in a weird secondary way, allow a greater oxygenization of your root ball. Oh, hell yeah, Jay Green. I love that binding trick. Do you mean the one where we did early on and we stripped them out and we bound the bottoms like a kind of like a bouquet of flowers? Is that the one you're referencing? I haven't done that in a while. But I like to switch it up, right? Like if I do everything the same every goddamn time, I mean, this would be an awfully boring show. Hot Squash got to keep it fresh. Got to keep fucking around with shit. I do love meatballs as well, Jason Show. I agree. The Observer, it is having a mild benefit during veg, but given the inherent cost of utilizing carbonated water into our grows, I would say typically don't start introducing it until you go into your flowering window, my friend. No. So it would be the start of week 3. I can't remember what week off the top of my head you're at now, Miss K, but I would start introducing it once you've hit week 3. So basically 21 days in, that's when you can start introducing that. And I love that Everett Fletcher. Everett Fletcher's like, that's a spicy root the barley. I like it, buddy. I like it. Yes, I also use resin from Green Planet and Flower Crazy Train. Big fan of the product. The teens will benefit mildly, but again, like I said, Andre, with the cost variant of introducing this as one of our tools in our grow toolboxes, leave it out, bud. Yeah, there's no point, man. It's just an extra amount of money you don't need to waste. And I mean, fuck, shit's expensive now. Inflation's real, everybody. So what can we talk about now? I mean, well, we have talked about, we're probably gonna, the next real bean thing we're gonna do is we'll do a little bean thing of uh making some skunky shit for you. I'm gonna release a skunk. We're gonna call it Pot Squatch's Skunk, and it will be, in my humble 2 cents, if I can pull off what I think I can pull off with what I have in my genetic vaults. I think it'll be the closest thing you've seen in a really long time to a true skunk, a true old school skunk. See, Jason, we should be marketing inflation as a weight loss program. It's like, thanks to inflation, I've lost 25 pounds. Thank you, inflation. Dark joke, I know. We're all struggling, but hey, if you can't make light out of the dark, what the fuck can you make light out of? Light's already light, motherfuckers. Right? All right. But so we're gonna do that. That's gonna be fun. One of the things, what does Uncle Pod Squatch need to get together to do the next breeding run for everybody? Well, I'm gonna need a small tent. Basically, the breeding tents are just gonna be little 2x2s because I don't have the room to do anything much bigger than that. So I need to find a 2x2 tent that I want to use for that. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna get a little 2x2. The first breeding in that one will be done. 2x2 with a little Squatch would be my guess, okay? But we're gonna have that released. My guess is I can have at least an initial F1 bringing back of my shit that I'm dusting off for my genetic thing. I can have skunk ready to go. Let me think about what's remaining on this. Well, it doesn't matter. I can get another tent going. I just got to get another tent. Bear with me. I'm doing math. You get seedlings started in the next 2 weeks. One time, grow them out. Watch a bit. 6 weeks. Flowering window, 9 to 10. Maybe a little bit longer. Let's give me 4 months. 4-ish months, and we'll have some of that ready for you on the store. Miss Case Garden's going like, it's going to take you 10 months. I'm like, no, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it in 4. To be fair, Miss K, the fun part of the 4 months thing was when we were going to release our lighting brand. And I, instead of that, just went public and like totally smashed Mars Hydro publicly. And I was like, we're going to release our own brand for the people. And I was like, we'll have it on market in 4 months. We had it on market in 3.5. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Everett Fletcher. Tazarello Gaming. Am I on X? I think I am. I don't think I've logged on to that account in a really long time. In part, that has to do with my own personal reasons for not being the biggest fan of Elon, but that has to do with stuff that you wouldn't think I'm actually meaning. It's other stuff. But I'll get back on there. I'll get back on there for everybody. I'm on all the other things too. I think. I mean, I don't really actively engage with a lot of shit. Basically, YouTube and the Facebook is kind of what I've been doing, but I need to do a better job. I'll admit that. I'll own that. I need to do a better job at engaging on all the online social media platforms. I am on Instagram, Tazarello Gaming, and I'm on their version of what X is, which is Telegram. But I technically have a Pod Squatch Growers account on X. I joined that when it was Twitter, not X, but I'm on the Telegram, I'm on the Insta, I'm on the YouTubes and the Facebooks, but I got to do a better job for that. Well, exactly, Jay Green. It's a way for me to produce enough beans to do an initial release, produce an initial F1 for my stores to then continue furthering the work for everybody. But then it also fits in the fact that I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment now, rather than a 2,500 square foot home that I owned. But, separations happen. Shout out to the ex-Mrs. Potsquatch. Hope you're doing well. I'm sure we'll run into each other one day. Wish nothing but the best for you. Hope you're well. The dogs are good if you're watching this, Dottie. The dogs are good. I hope you're good. I hope your welding career and blowing shit up career is going well for you. She's actually a licensed pyrotechnician, everybody. She's allowed to blow shit up. She gets paid for that. That's not me being mean. That's me legitimately referencing what she does for work. All right, moving on. Mud Swan says, yeah, mine needs... Oh, they're talking about spider plants. That's not what we're Okay, cool. Let them have their conversation. Roman Reckless says it was really good. Can't wait to grow the beans out. Oh, I missed the first part of that. Roman Reckless says that's pretty cool. It's funny because I recently acquired some blackberry skunk beans and some blackberry dumpster beans. Oh, fun. Bred by an old local guy who's known in the game. I smoked the flower. It was really good. Can't wait to grow the beans out. I mean, hell, Roman, how many of those beans did you get? Because I'd be interested in maybe trading for a couple of those just to add to my collection of things to play with. Or if you make a cross between the blackberry skunk and the blackberry dumpster, I would be interested in acquiring that cross for my collection as well. Also, what's up, That Guy Channel 2? Welcome to the show. Also, for anyone who's watching at home who may not be participating in the chat here, if you're new here at Pod Squatch Gores, and this is whether you're watching now or you watch this at a later date, everyone is allowed to talk as much as they want in the show. You're allowed to engage with the show. You're allowed to say hi within the show. You're allowed to chat within the show. You can ask any question, even if you're worried about the question sounding dumb, or if it's like you're new to growing and you're like, he's probably answered this 1,000 times. I don't want to ask it. Ask it, motherfucker. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And no one in this community is going to give you a hard time for asking a newer grower question. We were all there once. That's the point of this community. We know where we was, we know where we going, we know where we working on. No one's ever going to shit on you in this community. I don't care how long they've been here. If you ask a question you're new here in our community, and you ask a question that someone shits on, I will shit on them back 3 times harder. Okay. The only time we shit on people or go harsh at someone in this community is when they're being a dick to start. So it's a response, not the first move. You know what I'm saying? That Guy Channel 2, I would love to try. I mean, they may be just no hope, but I wouldn't mind trying. I do enjoy a challenge, That Guy Channel 2. Some of the beans that I'm talking about in this new skunk experiment that we're going to be doing for everybody, okay, are going to be really old. So I'm going to be running into some old shit too, and I'm excited about that. Yeah. And that's the thing. If I miss a question in the show, like let's say, because back in the day we used to have like 160 people in the show, it would be bumping all the time. And sometimes I would miss some questions, but there's a lot of really, really intelligent people in this community. There's a lot of intelligent pot squatches. And like we're all here to share and care and grow together and to help each other learn. So never be shy. If you're new here, participate. You can comment on the videos, you can show up in the live streams, you can be yourself. As long as you're respectful to everybody, you're good. Everybody is welcome here. This is an all-inclusive community, my friends. And this is funny. I got a call coming through, but it's from a 500 number. Funnily enough, my number's a 500 number. So people think my number's fake when I call them. But I'm pretty sure this is, in fact, a spam call. Should I answer it? Hello?
Hi, this is Cecilia calling you from Rogers Mobility. How are you doing today?
Well, fine. But as I told your other counterpart the other day, I have no accounts or anything with Rogers. I'm with TELUS, a far superior company, and there's literally no reason for you to be calling or fishing with me right now. I was also asked to be taken off the list.
You don't want any phone?
No, I'm talking to you on a phone right now from TELUS, a better company, vastly superior service. You rent your towers from them.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Sorry, I had to have fun with that one, everybody. I had to have fun with that one. Oh, man, that was funny. Okay. Oh, that was funny. All right, let's get back to the show. I had to enjoy that one. Could you guys hear her? Or could I just hear her? Yo, tell Joyce, what's up, girl? How old are you now? Like 50, Joyce? Like you must be getting big, girl. Good to see you, Joyce. Tell her I say hi, That Guy Channel 2. Shit, if Joyce is 50, I must be 200 then. Nah, it's all good, bro. There's a lot of people with an Indian accent that are legitimate people for me to talk on the phone with the companies. To be fair, they're just fishing. So Rogers is the second biggest phone provider in where I live. And so the fact that they are so desperate for sales now that they're straight up fishing now. And my favorite part of that interaction was like, and she was like, "What, you don't want a phone?" I have a phone. I'm talking to you on a phone. Like, you just call it the phone, honey. Like, Oh shit, that was funny. Snazzy Tracks? Nah, man, my internet service again. Tell us they own the fiber network here. Actually, and this is a fun thing, everybody. Starting as of the 22nd of this month, so we've only got 8 days left to wait. I am having my internet here upgraded from 1 gigabyte internet fiber to 3 gigabyte fiber's internet. This show is about to become even more crystal clear, even more silky smooth. Our ability at Pod Squatch Growers to connect to all of you is about to go through the roof. Okay. So we're about to step up to 3 gig internet. I'm stoked. I'm very happy. It's going to take them 2 hours to replace all the equipment in my crib, but that's okay. I don't give a shit. Like, bring it up. Warp speed is right, Jason Scholl. Warp speed ahead. That'll be an increase of, a gross increase of 66.6% on our general bandwidth interaction. Plus, they have to change everything built into my house for it. So, yeah, like, I'm already getting like an upload of like 940 right now. I'm gonna upload on this rig. That's on the gigabit. So let's see what our upload speeds do on the next 3 gig. You know what I'm saying, baby? All right. Now let's take a minute for our sponsors, which is, well, myself. If you'd like to support this channel or you'd like to support the love of the Pod Squatch Growers community and you want to be a Pod Squatch and rep your community, well, you can buy seeds, hats, t-shirts, CBD, beard oil, and all that shit at podsquatchsales.com. You can see it at the bottom of the screen there. So check that out. I would also just like to say big thank you to everybody coming today. Big thank you for everyone showing up. I love all of you, new and old, and we are going to build this community into a more dangerous, wonderful, safe place for everybody. Yeti Mountain Trading. Hell yeah, buddy. I love my fiber. Fuck, Yeti, we need to still trade some beans. We've been talking about that I feel like we've been talking about that for like 2 years. And we even talk sometimes and we just never remember to do that. We should probably do that though. That'd be fun. That's right. Y'all make sure you support our sponsors because it's me. I sponsor this myself. Also, by the way, you never have to buy anything or ever give money to the channel to be part of the community, to learn from the community, or be part of this. Fiber's good. I prefer protein, though. Oh, and Roman Reckless comes in with an epic dad joke. I love it. I love it, buddy. I love it, bro. That's awesome. Oh, fuck, man. Yo, hell yeah. That guy channel too. So by real LED, do you mean like you're rocking like a kind of a newer white LED tech, or how do you mean by that? Okay, wait, I gotta see this. Who's Your Squatch says plants growing out like a hand on top instead of one cola. Ha! You're talking about a singular cola that's actually got 4 distinct towers growing out of the top of the bud development. Is that what you're referencing? Who's Your Squatch? And if so, what you're referencing is the onset of deep compounding foxtailing. That's what happens when people keep breeding with things that foxtail if you fart on it. Foxtailing did exist. It's always existed. It has been a natural stress response within cannabis forever. I'll put it to you this way, though. When I was a younger grower, like it was years before I actually saw compounding foxtailing or even frequent or common foxtailing. It was not common back in the day. But if that's what you're referencing, that is what I'm going to call compounding foxtailing. There is a Kush strain that I love that does this no matter what. The only time I was ever able to get, and it's Violator Kush, by the way. I love Violator Kush, everybody. I don't even have that at my genetic stores. I need to get myself a true Violator. I want to try to figure out a way to keep Violator the way it is in many ways, but actually get rid of the foxtailing. Foxtailing, let's misnomer. A lot of people think, oh, foxtailing is reducing the strength of my cannabis. No tests or proof have ever been found that foxtailing is reducing the quality of your cannabis. What it is reducing, your yield, your weight. It is reducing bag appeal and certain things. But so the Violator Kush has a compounded actual reality of foxtailing that I've even seen buds of Violator that, yeah, like look like a hand. and they're like fingers, okay, coming out from a central kind of palm bud, shall we say. So yes, it is not unheard of. And funnily enough, there are even a few strains out there that do this that I love, which is Violator. But yes, I feel like I'm falling behind again. Let me read some shit here. All right. No, I feel you, Yeti, but like I'm shipping back, son. I'm shipping back. Let's do a trade. I don't know. If you're into it, we don't have to, Yeti. I just feel like we both have some interesting things that the other would love to play with. Tony Clifton, I managed to negotiate on my 3 gig upgrade. Well, according to them, there was like this obscure deal, and like funny thing is, like she was like, "Oh, your strata negotiated for you." And I was like, "I don't have a strata. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no strata associated with my building. There is a governing body, but it's not called a strata. Maybe that's what she means, but I don't think they would do that. It's the church." But I had access to a deal that they approved. So they reduced it by 40%. So I was able to upgrade all the tech in my house, upgrade even my cable package as well. Yes, I have cable. I'm old. I have a landline too, everybody. But I was able to upgrade all this shit and do it for the same cost. I'm basically spending exactly the same amount of money within $1 of what I'm already spending for this. Oh yeah. No, for sure. So what you rocking now then, That Guy Channel 2? This is in response of That Guy Channel 2 responding to what I asked about what he's rocking. Who's your Squatch? Fuck yeah. Send me a pic right now, bro. Potsquatch420 at gmail.com, and we'll show it on the show, and we will show everybody what you're talking about. Yeti Mountain Trading says compact fluorescence grows work. They do. I did a lot of fucking around with that back in the day. Compact fluorescent tubing has come a long way. I still prefer my LEDs, much cheaper in the long way to keep, excuse me, the thing going. But could have some of the fecime its genetics. I'm not sure what that means, but freak, it's me. Okay, that makes more sense, Yeti. Now I understand. So Roman Reckless, the reason why, hash makers and dab makers are going to love a foxtailing cannabis is one, they're still buying weight at the same weight. But what it does do is it's changing the structure of the flower. And I know you know this. I'm just talking about it for the show, where it provides a greater accessibility to harvest trikes to either make our hash, or it provides a greater accessibility for, if you're a blaster, to blast through that plant material. So in terms of making hash, well, especially hash, let's be honest, especially a hash product, foxtailing is not a bad thing. My only issue, though, is that the same amount of area with a foxtailing bud, you are producing less weed by the inherent flower structure of the plant, right? So for me, from a grower standpoint, in terms of output of required energy, time, blah, 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 to reduce my output, I find that frustrating. Plus, as much as I love making hash, if anything, I would put my hash up against any hash made in Canada. I will say this: I will not go up against hash makers from around the world. No, I would. I'd probably lose, but I will do it. But I know I bet you I could win. I could win the hash off of Canada, or at least place top 5. And yes, this is a huge, big statement to make, and I stand by it. I've spent over 20 years fucking figuring out what I'm doing with that and making hashes that remind me of my childhood, and I feel good about that. What's up, Joyce? Welcome to the show, girl. Don't worry, I won't tell YouTube that you're not an adult. Your dad said you can come on the show. I say you can come on the show. It's his choice, not YouTube's. Welcome to the show, Joyce. I just pulling up the email, everybody. Bear with me here. Oh, that's the other email. Let's go to this one. Here we go. Tap to download. Tap to download. Wait, done. And tap to download. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yes, this is interesting. So, his top, this isn't foxtailing. What his top has done is it's literally shot out randomly 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to guess 7 to 8 independent shoots growing on a top. Funnily enough, I did have a similar thing happen on a plant that we actually showed on the channel. It wasn't quite this. There was a dominant top to it. There was a dominant top to it. But yeah, I mean, I've seen similar things enough that I can say if I had one quite like that, no, not quite like that. But that's cool looking. I like it. I dig it. Imagine if you could get every nodal segment at Flip to do that. That's just way more bud. I mean, you're gonna have to foliate, maybe spread them out occasionally for airflow as they thicken up, you know what I'm saying, to make sure it keeps fresh and keeps it cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, no, Roman, I used to use a lot of tubes and shit back in the hood days too. I was a big fan of, the T5, the T8, even the T12. The T12 had some fun photo spectrum to it, even though it didn't throw out a lot of lumens. But that guy Channel 2 says, Pots, I got a lot of shit like 400 watts, 100 watts, lights, tents, monitoring systems, all for $300 off Facebook Marketplace. Bro, that guy Channel 2, that's a steal of a deal. I'm happy you found that. That sounds gangster and dope as fuck. I also will say, Jason, I agree with this. I prefer LEDs. I prefer soil too. I've done it all. I've done it all over a very long time. And that is where I prefer to be. Yeti Mountain Trading says it'll be larfy. That's true. A lot of the CFL stuff is a little larfy. Or if you're talking about a foxtailing thing, it can also be larfy. Other than genetics, the biggest thing from larf, everybody, is our light source. Okay. Larf and it's funny because like I don't even know if we have a term in Canadian growing for that. But I know there's an American term, which is larf. And it means like, we know what you mean by it now that we know what you mean. Like, I don't even know if we actually have like a term we came up with it in Canada for that, but I'll use larf because it works. Larf and hollow stems. Other than genetics, okay, everybody, the biggest secondary contributor to that is your light source. Well, that guy, Channel 2, I will admit, I am not happy about hearing someone passing away. That sucks. But at least in memory of the person, you can carry on and do a lot of rock and roll truth with the equipment that her father loved. And God rest him, whatever his name was. We, the Pot Squatches, honor you and acknowledge you. And our boy, that guy Channel 2, is going to use your equipment to rock and roll and keep it gangster. No, I know that guy Channel 2. It was just more of a cheeky joke. Right, Eugene Dolan? I mean, that's where I've been on a mission to kind of rebuild and be able to consistently make old school hash that I remember from my earlier years that I loved. Who's your Squatch? That's gangster, dude. Like, dude, fuck. If you had a mail, I'd say knock that plan up and send me some of those beans. I want to try to play with it. The Observer says fimming. You say fimming question mark. So am I into fimming or sorry? Peace out, Miss K. Much love, sister. Keep it real. That's true, but I don't think that what we're seeing in that picture would be triggered by that, Roman. And one thing to remember, and I learned this in a weird way back in the hood days, was if your outlet that you're wiring your light into is wired backwards, okay, so like you've got your wires reversed on that outlet. With most rigs, they will stay slightly illuminated when doing that now. That sounds sexy. Who's your Squatch? Mac and cheese. I like that. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading now. No, I know you're not 50, Joyce. I was just being silly. Uncle Pot Squatch was just being silly, Joyce. I was just playing, girl. It's all good. Hell yeah, that guy channel too, man. Well, you know what? It's amazing that first time you get some decent lights and you get a bit of good tech that you can really play with. Like I remember the first time I played with sort of the next explosion of better lights, you know. Realistically, that would have been HLGs when I tried them. They were vastly overpriced, but at the time, I don't know what their prices are going for now, but you know, I remember the first time I got to play with a proper Samsung white LED light, and that was HLG. Those were HLGs. The first time I played with those, the heat sink was heavier than hell. It was sharper than shit. I split my head open on it. Well, I was an idiot, wasn't paying attention, but it was a game changer to see what white based LEDs are gonna do for the weed game, and it was so cool because like I started screwing around with LED grow lights well before they were ready, years before they were really there. Um, you know, like a hundred watt unit true at the wall was like 700 or 800 bucks, and it was a blurple, and it was like 2-3 watt chips with some lenses over it, and it was still a blurple with ultraviolet diodes that burn out faster than fuck. But what did I spend on that thing? It was I think I spent a good 700 or 800 bucks on that one little tiny light. But it was cool to see. Like, I mean, it wasn't HPS. It wasn't like killing it, right? Like my HPS grows, but I started screwing around at a very early on stage in the development of LED technology, and it was fun. It was dope. Oh yeah, he's definitely looking at like a week 5 or 6. You're not wrong, Roman. I'm not going to ask him to reverse engineer that for Uncle Potsquatch. Hey man, the Blurples will always have a soft place in my heart. For what they were, they still killed. I always had a soft spot. I've still got a few old Blurples. Most of them have like half the board burnt out and stuff, and but they're still here. Excuse me. Well, you know, it's like that guy channel too. I mean, when you start growing decent dank and like, you know, there's not a lot for people to hate on, the trolls do go away. But there will always be trolls. I still get trolls. I will say to anyone who has a YouTube or is an online pot person, okay, the expectation that you're going to be perfect, do everything perfectly or know everything is never going to happen, okay? But what my suggestion is, even when battling trolls, um, stay cool, calm, collected. Remember, a well thought out argument is always going to win. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Joyce, the daughter of that guy channel too. That's a good joke. I gotta show this to everybody. Everybody's stoned at home. This is funny. Yo, what shampoo do you use? Your head, I mean your hair. It's so shiny. Well, to answer that honestly, Joyce, I use the same shampoo on my head as I do on my body. I may be bald up here, but I'm basically an ape. I use a hair and body wash all in one from Dove, and it seems to take care of my skin quite well as the fact that most of my body is built like an ape. But that was a good joke, Joyce. Very funny. I enjoyed that. I remember the King LEDs, man. The King LED Plus is what we started this channel with, bro. We started this channel with King LED, King Plus. I mean, to be fair, Anthony Cordero, like, I mean, I mean, Mammoth is cool, and I love some of these big super LED rigs that are being built. But to be fair, I would build my own light out of the parts we build ours out of. and just do sequential wired drivers if I need something really big. I'd put up something I build or our brand against any big light out there, and I'll beat them watt for watt. Or if I don't win, I'll try really hard and then I'll win next time. But I feel you though. LED for the win for sure. HPSs are an outdated mode in my humble 2 cents. I just can't bring myself to run them anymore. I will never run them again. Hell yeah, Jason Scholl. I wholeheartedly agree with you, my friend. I wholeheartedly agree with you, my friend. Here is Mind Kush. I'm thinking about getting some beans from your store. I need some genetics that would be good indoor and outdoor. Any recommendations? I like the look of the OG grow lamps. Okay, so well, frankly, I mean, in terms of indoor, dude, the Galactic Citrus Shiva is brilliant for indoor. That's what I'm rocking right now. You can veg it to any size you want. It literally starts super branchy. You can train it out. If you're a scrogger, it'll scrog perfectly. I'm not a scrogger. I'm not into it, but I mean, that's just my personal taste. They're great indoors. I've yet to have anyone try them outdoors. Half of their genetics was grown outdoors exclusively. Half of their genetics is an outdoor genetic. That's why I crossed them the way I did, trying to marry an old school world to a new school world with a GCS. The Orange Warrior Widow, though, is another one that would be really good. There's actually another genetic I have available, which is an F2, actually. I have an F2 Kaitungato by Canadian White Russian that I did. I just haven't released it yet. It's just one of those things that keeps falling behind. And so, one second here. I just got to respond to this text. But I will release it soon. It would do well as well. It is pretty much a straight sat, that one. Almost entirely. Like, it's not entirely sat, but it is so very, very satty. And watch for your males on this one. The Kaitungata by Canadian White Russian. Whew, it throws males that, like, when they're ready to nut, they're one of the most nutty males. Like, it's like a bukkake. I won't go into greater depth. That guy channel 2. I know your daughter's watching. But they produce pollen well. Okay. They produce the pollen very well. So just be aware of that. Good for plant sex, but be mindful. 1 second. Done. There we go. I'm back. Well, speaking of the Squatch racks back in the day, and I've still got all those racks. They're just sitting on a back shelf right now. And we're going to fire those up eventually. Like, I mean, if I can get this new job at the casino, I might actually be able to get myself to a place where I could afford to literally rent another location other than where I live, to play around with a few little things for everybody at home. And that is one of my quiet things I'm financially working towards, is to be able to afford that, so we can have a bit more both production in terms of beans, but then also just sort of filming some cool stuff for everybody at home. And then we can fire up some of those racks again. The original first Squatch rack that was ever built, I don't own it anymore. Funnily enough, one of our own owns that. I sent that Squatch rack down to Texas Squatch down in Texas, as his wedding gift, because I only used it for one run. I think I used that one for one run, and then I ordered a bunch of other ones myself. And for those of you wondering, yes, I still pay for my own lights. Yeah, I pay less than you guys do. I pay for parts, but still, like, I'm still paying for shit, right? Like, and time and putting it together, and then all that, and bringing the parts in and all that. But I sent the first ever one down to Mikey for his wedding present there, and he's still rocking it. He's got right now a bunch of Galactic Citrus Shiva, as well as, oh fuck, another genetic I sent him. He's only got one or two of those ones going. They're a little older and they're a little slow going, but as I told him, they'll get faster in time. Don't give up hope on these sexy little ladies. Those ones, I think I sent him one of my little weird things in my collection there that's fun. It was a what was it? I think, if I'm remembering correctly, if only Texas were here, it is a Purple Kush by BC Godbud. which I've had those for many, many years. And I've never fucked around with them. So I sent him a few of those to try. I kind of want to fuck around with those too, because they're like two genetics that I know really intimately from the early days of BC weed back in the day, like Purple Kush, proper Purple Kushes from back in the day, and BC Vancouver Island Godbud. God damn, like she was a sat dom, but man, that weed was crazy though, and like that's one of the few sat doms that like Uncle Pot Squatch loved, man. It was so frosted. I remember when I first met Vancouver Island Godbud, and it was like a first thing, and it was like kind of came onto the scene, and I saw my first couple pounds of it, and I was like, oh, you're sexy looking lady. Oh my God. Frosty as shit. Didn't have quite the density of what I like for my cushions and other things, but man, like it was sexy though. And it was a decent smoke. I mean, again, Sat Dom things aren't really my bag, but I mean, it was a good weed titty. But that cross with a Purple Kush, now that sounds fun to me. You know what I'm saying? Roman Reckless says, I have a Whitechapel cross with Jack the Ripper. Wonder if the Whitechapel has any White Russian genetics. I mean, it could. I mean, the White Russian in and of itself was just a Canadian addition to the White family. All origin stories to anything white goes back to the White Widow. Arguably one of my favorite White family strains from back in the hood days was the White Rhino. Anyone here remember White Rhino? I loved White Rhino. It was a solid weed. I liked White Rhino. If you had a proper White Rhino out and about, I would say it was something I was willing to acquire. Like White Rhino was dope. I remember that good old White Rhino. No, I feel you, the observer. I feel you. There we go. Jason Scholl remembers the White Rhino. That was a good strain. I was a big fan of the White Rhino. Jason Scholl, I know a lot of people, especially in a modern day and age, will advocate to the non-temperature swings of your grow. That's because a lot of people are used to growing weak genetics that if you fart on them wrong, they herm, they foxtail, they have issues. I have always been a big advocate for sometimes quite extreme temperature swings. Not every genetic's going to like it. Okay. Certain genetics love it. Certain genetics will just survive it. Sometimes they'll survive it. There's not a huge benefit to the change, except at the end finish. I always super chill my weed at the end. But well, if I can in my setup at the time. But I've always, especially for indica based genetics, especially, it's not as prevalent in sat doms, but yeah, no, temperature swings are a very good thing in a lot of the genetics that I like to play with and a lot of the types of things I like to normally grow. So that's Uncle Pot Squatch's 2 cents on that. Here, I'll show the comment to everybody so they can know what I've been, responding to or talking about. Sorry, everybody, I'm reading a bit here. It's all good, Johnny Thumper Time. What's up, Chris Matos? Sorry, everybody, I'm just reading here now. That's my rough memory on it as well. T9 get up. I think a couple of different variations on it had a little bit more selective inbreeding from the initial cross. So I saw a couple versions of it that kept White Widow and then went off in their own divergence. One more Widow leading, one more AK-47 leading. Sorry, everybody. Yo, everybody, Gas is 76 in the house. What's up, Gas? No worries, Jason Scholl. Happy to share and happy to always add my humble 2 cents to things. Cool. So also great thing. So everybody, we're going to talk about this for a minute here. Van Allen Beauty says, I've been having some issues rooting cuts. I have Clonix arriving tomorrow. So one, awesome. So even with rooting hormone powder or gel, you're going to find that some strains will react to gel better than others will react better to powder. I didn't invent this technique. I learned it from either a weed book or a High Times article when I was a kid. Um, and it was talking about how when dealing with stubborn genetics that struggle to clone, okay, is you're going to do the double dip motif. Now, for me to do the double dip, this is how I do it. First, I do my fresh scrape. You do it right away. Dip lots of water. Let it sit in the water for a minute or two. Then, boom, you do powder next. Shake off the excess, okay? Then you're going to take a gel, and then you're going to dip in your gel. It's the double dip, and they work together, and it's going to work really, really well. Sometimes some strains really resist rooting. So utilizing rooting hormone is going to be great. So Everett Flesher is saying willow water. I've actually taken willow water from nubile growth at the beginning of spring, cooked it down, simmered it down, and then reduced it and used that as a natural rooting hormone powder because the willow family, all willow trees, okay, have large amounts of rooting hormone naturally, especially in their new growth. I find personally the weeping willow, it's available to me. And I've had the best experience with using a weeping willow's new growth right at the beginning of the season to make the best natural homemade rooting hormone powder. But you can use any form of the willow family. Will have significant concentration of rooting hormone powder that you can make some sort of at-home version of that. Water cloning is great too. Some strains love it. Some strains won't though. Some strains are just stubborn, right? So that's where sometimes you got to whip out the big guns. You got to get that powder or that gel. You got to kind of, go toe to toe with it, double dip, hit it with everything you know, and hope for the best. And it'll still struggle. And also for those of you who are newer growers, remember to actually tip all of your fan leaves on your cuttings. Okay. Tip all of it. Okay. Because what we're doing is we're signifying damage, right? So the plant is like, oh crap, all my leaves are fucked up. Well, I'm going to send my energy down there. Oh, and there's something tingling at the bottom of my fucking little bottom there. Oh, and that's helping. And then so it's just helping to work with the plant psychology, those living tissues, while we're playing with that cutting to get it to go. Okay. Right. So, that's what we're doing with that one. I hope that makes sense. Jay Green, if we could get a proper Vancouver Island pink Kush, there's 4 or 5 variations of it that I really like. There's a lot of subtle variations to pink Kush here in BC. But yeah. This is also a very true statement. The best strains of the White Widow or White Rhino, etc., comes from Mr. Nice Seeds Bank, as he is the true breeder of those genetics. Exactly true. Gazzers, maybe share with everyone the original name of whom Mr. Nice was known as before. I could talk about it, but I'm trying to engage with you because Gazzer's like a walking encyclopedia. I know a lot of things, right? I've done a lot of research myself, but Gazzers has done, especially in the last few years, so much research into the history of our people and different breeders. And that's where I value him in the Pot Squatch Growers Army so much. I call him the encyclopedia. Now, Gaz, what do you know about this one? What do you remember reading, mate? I can't quite remember. Can you spark my brain? Well, it's a very serious thing, Joyce. It's called the perm was done so good the hair fell off my head. Girl, I tell you, I went in to get that perm, girl. I was gonna get all fucking lit and sexy. But then there was a miscalculation on that perm, and this is what happened when you fuck the perm up. It all melts off your head, girl. This is very true. Talking about different graded hormone levels and rooting hormone powders or gels from all different companies, referencing at which point or which type of thing you'll use it for. To be fair, I've never experienced a high-level rooting hormone powder or gel hurting a soft tissue, easy rooting thing. So that's where typically I just go for the big hemo and say, fuck it. Why would I buy the other 2 levels? Go big or go home, right? Nuke the bitch. But in theory, I'm sure it could maybe be a bit much for some strains or plants, but I've never experienced a cannabis that has had that happen. What's what? I'm very sorry. Light a candle off of the yo, Joyce, girl, I appreciate it. I mean, if you mean here, thank you, girl. But also, if you mean here, I'm gonna say Yo, that guy channel 2, we gotta get her some glasses. I mean, that with love, babe. Yeah, Roman Reckless is like, Squatch fell asleep with the relaxer and didn't wake up for 3 hours. Then he looked like this, and now it permanent. Right? I mean, and it's like totally. And this is going back to the rooting hormone levels, everybody. Roman, right? I mean, it's like I've never experienced a negative reaction with anything, really, to be fair, that I've ever tried to root with using the highest level rooting hormone power. It's like, y'all just trying to make a fucking thing. So you're going to trick my brain into thinking I need to use a softer rooting hormone powder for an easier rooting thing. Nah, motherfucker, I'm going to buy that good. I'm just going to use that shit. I'm going to nuke the bitch every time. And if it starts fucking up, then I'll buy your other products. I think you're just gaslighting me, motherfuckers. Just sell one product. Rooting hormone powder level 8, or gel number 8, or 10, or whatever you want to call it, or triple X. You never know. But just sell the one product. We don't need to differentiate. Okay? Maybe release a limited line for specialized, the occasional genetic that really needs it, maybe. I don't know. Just an idea. Just an idea. Rooting hormone for hair. Yep, that's called injecting hormones into my head. But once you go bald, it doesn't really come back that way. Alopecia, it can work for that. But I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get balder and balder and balder, everybody. This is a good comment, and I will respond to it. So, Wine Kush, aloe works. Why waste money on a gel when the gel is just like grows like a weed? I mean, I feel you. Aloe vera does work for some plants, and it is a great way to have a low cost cloning mechanism. Hell, I released a couple of videos back in the hood days, which was cloning using only water, right? You only close using water, and it's legit. I mean, it works for some strains. It just blows the fuck up. The best way to actually do that is make sure you have an air stone with an air pump going through that. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan, hippie zombie, of stem root myself. I've used a lot of stem root over the years. I'm a big fan of the stem root products, also readily available in any Canadian gardening store. Big fan of stem root. But not all strains are going to be able to go with that aloe, right? Like, so aloe is only going to work at times. It's not going to work for everything. It's good to see you smile, Joyce. Good to see you smile, girl. Hell yeah, guys, because I want to check that one off. Kaitangata. Wait a minute. I thought you didn't have a Master Skunk Shot done yet. Master Kush by the Skunk Shot. Are you telling me you already did that cross and you've got that cross going by a Kaitangata Canadian White Russian or a straight Kaitangata now? And if that's the case, that sounds sexy, baby. I'm just going to add this to build off the aloe there. Roman Reckless. Ooh, let's see if I can pronounce this properly. Aloe has indole butyric acid. I don't know if I said that right, which is active hormone in rooting gels and powders. So there we go. Further adding to that, aloe works. My main thing is I just experience it not always working. Scalp hair, as in scalp hair. I love it, Joyce. That's funny. You're a very smart young woman, very creative. I dig it. Oh yeah, most strains will. The trick is find a way to not have them die on you and keep the bitches alive, and they'll root eventually. Jay Green, it's called Black Widow now. He changed the name when he left the initial Brotherhood of the Growers or Breeders, and he reclaimed his own genetic. So when he released it as Mr. Nice, it is called Black Widow. Black Widow is the original White Widow, and that's part of the history there. Oh, it was the last one you did before the pigs came. How many did you save? Because I want some. Oh, I'm sorry. One day, guys. I'm just excited by Master Kush by Skunk Shot. That turns me on. The concept, and that came, I believe, both of those are Mr. Nice genetics that you crossed on that. it makes me want it even more. Oh yeah, totally, Jay Green. The old school White Widow, like there was a reason why she came in with the name she did. And it's, White Widow was one of those first super frosty strains. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like to develop it. Okay. When Shanti Bubba was sitting there fucking around growing his weed, right? And Shanti Bubba all of a sudden creates White Widow. And he's like, "You look new. Holy crap, look at how bloody fucking frosty this is." It was like, because now we've got super frosting everywhere on a lot of different types of strains, which I love. And the funny thing is, a lot of these super frosted strains aren't even necessarily that strong half the time. But White Widow, when it came around, was so frosty. And it was like, unlike anything any of us had seen. We were just like, what the fuck is that? I could only imagine what it would be like to be Shanti Bella back in the day. That first time you saw some of those phenos of the White Widow coming out, and you're like, Danger Will Robinson, we need to call home. Jason Scholl says, I had a cannabis encyclopedia full of great plant centerfolds, and White Widow was the one on the cover. Beautiful plant. Hell yeah. Like back in the day, it was insane. Okay. So, okay, Gazzers, this almost makes me want it more. This is so the Master Kush was from Mr. Nice. So this was a Master Kush from my boy, Mr. Shanti Bubba. But the skunk shot was a creation from an old school Kiwi breeder that gave it to him. All right. So it's a bit of the old school with an old school grower and his workings of a skunk shot. All right. I dig it, dude. That almost sounds even more fun. I'm into it. Oh, Johnny Summertime. Hell, not bad, right? Like, so for me, Kenneth R. Knox, like, I don't like to plant until I have roots, because I like things to root heavily when I'm cloning, and then I'll plant after rooting. That's where, like an aquaponics cloner, cloning in water, um, is usually the way I go. Let's not lie to ourselves. Uncle Pond Squatch likes doing it that way. I mean, yeah, you can use little peat pellet pod things, or you can use rock wool or other things, but because I find when I allow it to root out the way it does, and then I can plant that. So, you gently start to twist that clone as you're planting it. Then you're able to create and twist gently those roots into a beautiful root ball as you place it. So you've got this super dense, beautiful, happy little root ball now, like a literal ball of root. That it's going to explode from it, that transplant. It's going to maximize your area to your initial pot. And I mean, so for me, that's kind of how I approach it. It's always been my favorite or preferred way to go, shall we say? You know what I'm saying? Van Allen Beauty, especially if you're planting into a dirt, you're going to want to sit typically at like a 6.1 to a 6.3. I gotta share this one for Mud Sweat, everybody. This one is hilarious. Um, I was wondering why my plant was so short, and then I looked underneath it, and it was laying sideways. I've been there, buddy. I've done similar things. I've even lost plants underneath larger plants. And the blueberry that we did a bunch on the channel, that pheno that I ended up loving, was this tiny short blueberry that actually got overgrown in my closet when we started the channel. And I found it at harvest. And I was like, wait a tick. So we took that one and we actually that was the one that we re-vegged. Then it allowed the set in of the fungus gnat super infestation on that plant. It was bad. And that's what led to some of the early fungus gnat videos we released. But it was that blueberry, but it got lost. It was a stoner mistake. I didn't even know the bitch was there. And then I found it. I was like, shit. These things happen, man. These things happen. Don't feel bad. It's a thing. It's okay. It'll come, man, Van Allen Beauty. The trick is take as many as you can, learn a differentiated cloning thing. And then that's really a video that I got to do. I've been promising people for a long time I'll make my all encompassing or all comprehensive basic cloning video 101 for everybody. I've been talking about that video, probably for like 3 or 4 years, and I haven't done it. I'll do it for you, everyone. That'll be a video. I will have that released because I got to get something else growing. I can get things to a point pretty quickly, but sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. Give me 2 months. I'll have it released in 2 months, everybody. I will have that one released in 2 months. I'm going to start getting that all going and ready. I mean, for me, I feel you on the plugs. I've never been a fan of domes, right? Like, I mean, I've always gone, let's go low relative humidity. Let's make them fight. I might miss the bitch, but you know, yeah, I'm not the world's biggest fan of domes. And to be fair, I've had greater success without using dome anything on my clones. I know it sounds weird and it is counterintuitive, but yeah, Pod Squatch just feels more comfortable that way. Maybe I just like the constant mothering and saying hello to them. Yo, what's up, JC Smith 71? Salute to you as well, my friend. We are getting there, though, my friends. I'm not trying to be rude. And I mean, part of me would love to keep going on and on and on for everybody. But okay, before I start doing the goodbye, we're going to read this from Chris Matos. What's up, my Jim? It's been a hot minute. Good to see you, motherfucker. What's up? Okay, Chris Matos says, everybody, I have something to talk about. What is your take on hollow stems? I've come across hollow stems many times, haven't noticed anything cons other than it makes LST a challenge. You know, I feel you. I'm anti hollow stem if I can avoid it. Because I personally feel that on my hollow stem realities, I'm not getting quite the same weight. I'm not getting quite the same resin production. And again, it's similar. Like what we're talking about, what I'm noticing is like I'm being anal retentive on my comparisons on things. I just find I have slightly better yields, resin content, taste, flavor. Like everything's just slightly a little better when I can get that plant to a place where it's got solid stems. Some genetics, it's very hard to do, almost impossible. But that in and of itself, I find is also quite rare though, too. So hollow stems, is it the end of the world? No. Am I going to try to avoid them? Fuck yeah. Do I find everything's just a little bit better at bare minimum when I avoid that or do the things I need to? Yes. Actually, funnily enough, we were actually just talking about hollow stems a little bit earlier in the show, Chris, funnily enough. Excuse me. Jason Scholl says, any comments due to limited space have clothes grow straight into the lights and reroute themselves around, and I get albino bud. Should I prevent this? Well, what you're talking about is chlorophyll bleaching. And funnily enough, that is mostly, I've only ever seen it on blurple lights as much. If you want to say, have you sent a picture of that also, by the way, Jason, already? While we're at it, this is the ladies update. This is from Van Allen Beauty. So it looks like we've got 6 bushy ladies going there. I know Van Allen Beauty just brought some down. So these are the new bitches that's going. There we go. Here's another picture there of the further side looking good. And I believe Van Allen Beauty is doing these in a super soil of his own concoction. So I'm just reading everyone's stuff. Yes, but a mud swap, what we're actually talking about is while the plant's growing. Okay. So like at harvest, when you go to harvest, they're hollow already. So that they've existed in this state is more so mud swap. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just that's kind of what we're talking about. Because obviously, yeah, they'll hollow out as they dry, but we're not talking about after the dry period. We're talking about right at that harvest, and then we cut into it. And we're just like, ah, shit. No worries, Van Island Beauty. Yeah, totally. And I think, Jason, at the end of the day, is it affecting? I honestly, Jason, I can't speak to reading any studies or actual tests done on bleaching that's happened on buds being different in their content. But as an educated guess, as a man of the weed titty plant, as a man who knows plants and spends a lot of time with plants and loves to fuck around with plants and like maybe even do things that a lot of people will go like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, a lot of the techniques I've developed over the years are kind of like that. It's like, Jesus, what did you just do? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, my guess is it's probably not maximizing the cannabinoid terpene flavonoid profile. I would say it probably would be better if it wasn't bleached. I also will say that on a genetic, sometimes that can trigger some genetics to have a stress response of herming in some form of way, whether it be a ninja nanner, pollen bomb, or whatever different type of hermaphrodite it is Lemmy decides to do. But yeah, bro. Like, I mean, if you're not noticing anything negative, I don't think you're hurting yourself by allowing that to happen or have it happen. But I wouldn't say that avoiding it is a bad thing either, though, if that makes sense. There you go. Owl will be growing for life. Hell yeah. Sounds fun, man. This is Van Island Beauty speaking to still a residual potassium sulfate causing toxicities in the back three. Still need to make a fresh batch of the latest new and improved recipe. I feel you, man. All in time, buddy. Yeah, I mean, hippie zombie. I remember hash tipping as a term back in the day, and I think it was just before we really realized what was happening. I think it's before we really had a full understanding necessarily what was happening with the weed plants. But I remember that though. I remember that from 420 mag too, man. Fucking, I remember hash tipping and it being talked about that way. Roman Reckless, I agree. I mean, I think the curing process is definitely affected because there's a bleaching or obliteration, as it were, of the chlorophyll that's within the plant tissue. And I think it's a big part of having our proper cure and settle out on the weed titties for show. So that'd be my take on it. Hey, what's up, James Davenport? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, man, I ain't dead yet, James. I literally almost died this year and a half ago. The woman I was supposed to marry tried to destroy me in my life. I'm not dead yet, buddy. Never give up, never surrender, everybody. All pot squatches at home. It can always get better. Never give up, never surrender. We're back. We're all here. We're a community. We stand together, my friends. Together we stand, divided we fall. Never give up, never surrender. We are the Pot Squatch Growers Army. Hey, Quiet Witch, I feel you, girl. I have to end the show as well. Okay, here's a disclaimer for Van Island Beauty. Disclaimer: be very careful how much glandular potassium sulfate you add to soil. Easily overdone. I suggest 1.25 milliliters per pre-mixed soil gallon if you want to try it. Tomatoes can handle more, though. All right, good fact. But at the end of the day, especially when making super soils, I mean, less is more. That's where I'd bake mine for a long time when I used to do super soils back in the day, and then I would actually like layer it. And I can't take, the way I do it. I tweaked Subcool's way of talking about it, but it was a very revolutionary article I read when I was a young man from 420 magazine that played a big influence in terms of my interpretations of the concept of super soil. Hey, welcome back, Tazarello Gaming. And my friends, my family, let's first say, well, okay, I gotta say this. Pot Squatch Nation, fuck yes, buddy. But my friends, my family, thank you for all the support. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. The biggest thing you can do if you want to do something to help us grow the channel, grow our community, and get awareness of all of us out there so we can have more Pod Squatches and friends to hang out with and grow with and be motherfuckers like us, like, share these videos. That's what I've learned. That's the biggest thing you can do to help any channel. Share their videos about it, especially for a cannabis channel. It supersedes likes and subscribes in terms of the awareness and what the algorithm thinks on YouTube. Because if it sees itself having these links of something being sent around other exterior sources or having other incoming, views to the platform, it views that differently. So share our shit about, my friends. All right. If you like this hangout, guess what? It happens 24/7 at the Pod Squatch Growers community on Facebook. It is on Facebook. So you have to be on Facebook to be part of that. If Soul Price was here, I would get him to reshare the Discord and I rejoin that tonight. I haven't been in there in months, but check out the Pod Squatch Growers community. Answer the questions. It is a liability. We need you to answer the questions so we can allow you in. Okay. Check out our store, podsquatchsales.com. Okay. If you want to grow like Uncle Pod Squatch or you just want to rep being a Pod Squatch, okay, check out our store. You can buy seeds, hats, t-shirts, beard oil, CBD, all that shit. Podsquatchsales.com. I run that store. It's all us, hand coded, more secure than your government's website. You're good to go. We built that for the Pod Squatches. So check that out. And at the end of the day, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to remove that. There we go. All right. And I'll see you on Sunday. We're going to have a new video coming out pretty soon. I'll start releasing videos on the popping of the old school skunk shit. We're going to make a video about popping old beans. We're going to dust off some old shit, everybody. I just need to get my hands on another tent or two so we have some space to do it. And then we'll go from there. Maybe I might email some companies, be like, hey, can I try your tent on my channel? You should send it. If it's great, I'll tell them. If it sucks, I'm not going to lie. Maybe someone will send us a tent. We'll find out. But remember, my friends, my family, my Pod Squatches, the true grower is the forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. There's 1,001 highways to the same destination. Doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there and have some fun and love along the way. Respect each other and be kind. The world's a fucked up, dark place, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better any soon. We might have to go through some darkness before we evolve and become better, but love each other. Be nice. You never know how long that goes in someone's life. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for spending it with me on this wonderful show today, my friends, my family. Keep it sexy. Word to your mother. We'll see you next time, motherfuckers!